Prince was in the middle of Purple Rain when someone in the audience shouted something that made him stop the entire show. What happened next left 20,000 people in tears. But this wasn't just any concert, it was the night Prince learned that some performances matter more than the music itself. It was October 12, 1996, at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Prince was in the middle of his Emancipation tour, celebrating his freedom from Warner Brothers, his reclaimed name, and a triple album that represented everything he'd fought for. The energy in the arena was electric, 20,000 hometown fans watching their hometown hero in his most triumphant moment. He'd already taken them through Kiss, 1999, and Little Red Corvette. Now, as he settled into Purple Rain, the crowd swayed together like one organism. This was the song. The anthem. The moment everyone had been waiting for. Prince stood at center stage, bathed in purple light, his white guitar gleaming. His voice poured through the arena with that vulnerable intensity that made strangers cry. He was approaching the second verse when everything changed. Please. Prince, please. The voice was desperate. Female. Cutting through 20,000 people singing along like a knife through silk. Prince kept playing, assuming security would handle whatever disturbance was happening. But the voice came again, louder this time, breaking with emotion. My daughter is dying. Please. Prince's fingers stopped moving. The band, confused, gradually went silent. The backing track faded. Within seconds, the entire arena fell into a silence so complete you could hear the ventilation system humming. Prince stood motionless, still holding his guitar, trying to locate where the voice had come from. His tour manager, Kirk, stood in the wings, already signaling security. This wasn't how Prince concerts worked. Prince was in control. Always. Interruptions didn't happen. But Prince raised his hand, stopping security in their tracks. Where are you? His voice echoed through the sound system. Quiet. Controlled. But something in his tone made everyone understand, this was serious. In section 114, row H, seat 7, a woman named Rachel Martinez stood up, shaking uncontrollably. In her arms was a little girl, 6 years old, wearing a purple dress that was now several sizes too big. The girl's name was Maya. And she was dying. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The aggressive kind. The kind that didn't respond to chemotherapy. The kind that gave doctors that look, the one where they can't meet your eyes when they tell you there's nothing more they can do. Maya had been fighting for 18 months. 18 months of hospitals, needles, poison pumped into her tiny veins, hair falling out in clumps, pain that would break grown men. She'd never complained. Not once. She just asked one question, over and over. When can I see Prince, Mama? Rachel had made promises she didn't know how to keep. Soon, baby. Soon. But soon kept getting farther away. The treatments got harsher. Maya got weaker. And 3 days ago, Dr. Chen had sat Rachel and her husband Miguel down and said the words every parent fears. Days. Maybe a week. I'm so sorry. Maya had heard. 6-year-olds hear everything, even when you think they're sleeping. Especially when you're talking about them dying. That night, Maya had looked at her mother with those huge dark eyes that seemed too old for a 6-year-old face, and said, Mama, I want to see Prince before I go to heaven. Please. Rachel had called everyone she knew. Begged. Pleaded. Pulled every favor. A friend of a friend knew someone who worked at the Target Center. They'd gotten 3 tickets. Row H. Not close, but inside. Inside was enough. Miguel had carried Maya from the car. She was so light now, barely 40 pounds. They'd dressed her in her favorite purple dress, the one she'd worn to her last birthday party, back when birthdays still felt possible. For the first hour of the concert, Maya had been awake. Not energetic, she didn't have energy anymore, but present. Her eyes followed Prince across the stage. Her small hand had gripped her mother's during Kiss. During 1999, she'd actually smiled. But by the time Purple Rain started, Maya's breathing had changed. Rachel recognized it from the hospital, the shallow, labored rhythm that meant time was running out. Miguel, Rachel had whispered, panic rising in her chest. I think this is it. Miguel looked at his daughter and saw what his wife saw. Maya's lips were turning blue. Her eyes were closing. That's when Rachel stood up and screamed. 20,000 people stared at section 114. Prince stood on stage, his guitar hanging by its strap, his hands now empty at his sides. "Bring the lights up," he said quietly into his microphone. The house lights came on. Bright. Unforgiving. Concert lighting is designed to hide imperfections, to create illusion. House lights show everything exactly as it is. In row H, under the harsh fluorescent glare, everyone could now see Rachel Martinez holding a little girl who was clearly, visibly dying. Maya's skin had a gray pallor. Her breathing was audible even rows away, rattling, struggling. The purple dress hung on her like a costume on a doll. Prince walked to the edge of the stage. He squinted, trying to see through the lights. "Ma'am," he said, his voice carrying through the silent arena. "What's your daughter's name?" "Maya," Rachel managed to say, tears streaming down her face. "Her name is Maya. She's 6. She has leukemia. The doctors say." Her voice broke. "They say she doesn't have much time. She loves you so much. She just wanted to see you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Prince stood there for a long moment. In the wings, Kirk was signaling frantically. They had a schedule, a set list, 20,000 people who'd paid for a show. But Prince wasn't looking at Kirk. He was looking at a dying little girl in row H. "Maya," Prince said into the microphone. "Can you hear me?" Maya's eyes fluttered open. She nodded, barely. "Do you like Purple Rain?" Another small nod. Prince turned to his band. "We're taking a break." Then he addressed the crowd. His voice was different now, not the performer voice, but something quieter, more human. "Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to be patient with me. Something more important than this concert is happening right now." He set his guitar down carefully and walked off stage. In the wings, chaos erupted. Kirk grabbed Prince's arm. "Prince, you can't stop the show. We have." Prince pulled his arm free. "Get that family backstage. Now. We can't just. Now, Kirk. That little girl is dying. Prince, there are 20,000 people out there." Prince turned, and the look in his eyes stopped Kirk mid-sentence. It wasn't anger. It was something deeper. Something that made Kirk realize he was witnessing a moment where everything else stopped mattering. "That little girl came here to see me," Prince said quietly. "She's dying. Right now. In row H. And I'm damn sure going to make sure she gets more than just a glimpse from 150 feet away." Kirk nodded slowly. Okay, I'll get security." Within minutes, security was escorting the Martinez family through the maze of corridors beneath the target center. Maya was unconscious now, her head lolling against her father's shoulder. Rachel was crying so hard she could barely walk. They were led to Prince's dressing room. A private space. Quiet. Away from 20,000 watching eyes. Prince was already there, sitting on a couch, waiting. He'd taken off his stage jacket and jewelry. He looked smaller somehow. More human. When Miguel carried Maya in, Prince stood up. "You can put her here," he said, gesturing to the couch. His voice was gentle. Patient. Miguel laid Maya down carefully. She didn't wake up. Prince knelt beside the couch, at eye level with the little girl. He looked at Rachel. "How much time do the doctors think she has?" Rachel's voice was barely a whisper. "They said, maybe days. Maybe hours." Prince nodded slowly. He looked at Maya, this tiny, fragile human being in a too big purple dress. She was so small. So still. "Maya," Prince said softly. "My name is Prince. Your mama tells me you wanted to see me." No response. Maya's breathing was shallow, irregular. Prince looked up at Rachel. "Does she have a favorite song?" "Purple Rain," Rachel said through tears. "She makes me play it every night. Even when she's in pain. It's the only thing that helps." Prince stood up. "I'm going to do something. Just give me a minute." Prince walked to the corner of his dressing room where a keyboard was set up. He'd been using it for warm-ups. He sat down on the small bench and placed his hands on the keys. Then, in that dressing room, with no audience except 2 terrified parents and a dying 6-year-old girl, Prince began to play. Not the album version of Purple Rain. Not the concert arrangement with the big production and the soaring guitar solo. This was something different. Stripped down. Intimate. Raw. Just piano. Just voice. He played the opening chords, and something happened. Maya's eyes opened. Not all the way. Just a flutter. But open. Prince saw it. He kept playing, kept singing, but his eyes were on Maya now. Watching. Connecting. I never meant to cause you any sorrow, he sang, his voice soft. Vulnerable. Nothing like the powerful performer voice he used on stage. This was personal. This was a lullaby. Maya's hand moved. Just slightly. Her fingers twitched. Rachel gasped. She's responding. Prince kept singing. He changed the lyrics slightly, personalizing them, making them about this moment, this room, this little girl. Purple rain, purple rain. Maya, can you hear the purple rain? Maya's lips moved. No sound came out, but her lips definitely moved. Prince finished the verse and stopped. He stood up from the keyboard and walked back to the couch. He knelt down again, bringing his face close to Maya's. Hey, Maya. I'm right here. Maya's eyes opened wider. She looked directly at him. And for the first time in 3 days, according to her mother, Maya spoke. You're really Prince. Her voice was barely audible. Weak. Strained. But clear. I'm really Prince, he confirmed, smiling. I love you, Maya whispered. Those 3 words hit Prince like a physical force. He'd heard millions of people say those words over his career. Screamed from crowds. Written in fan letters. But this was different. This was a dying child using some of her last breaths to tell him she loved him. I love you too, Maya, Prince said. And he meant it. Maya's eyes stayed open, locked on Prince. She seemed more alert now, more present, as if seeing him had given her temporary strength. Are you in pain right now? Prince asked gently. Maya nodded slightly. A lot. Another nod. Prince looked at Rachel. Does music help? When she's hurting? Rachel nodded through tears. It's the only thing that helps. We play your songs in the hospital. The nurses know. When Maya starts crying, they put on Purple Rain. Prince thought about this. Then he made a decision. Maya, I want to do something. Is that okay? What? The word was barely a breath. I want to take you back out there. To the stage. So you can finish hearing the song. But I need to know if you're strong enough. Miguel stepped forward. Prince, I don't think. But Maya interrupted, her voice surprising everyone with its sudden clarity. Yes. Please. Have you ever wanted something so badly that your body found strength it didn't have? That's what was happening to Maya. The doctors said she had hours. The pain should have been unbearable. But in that moment, the power of a dream, the power of seeing Prince, of hearing that music, gave her something medicine couldn't. Prince stood up and turned to Miguel. I'm going to carry her. Is that okay? Miguel looked at his daughter, then at this stranger who happened to be one of the most famous musicians in the world, and saw something in Prince's eyes that made him trust completely. Yes. That's okay. Prince carefully, gently lifted Maya into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. Her head rested against his shoulder, and he could feel how hot her skin was, fever burning through her. I've got you, Prince whispered to her. I've got you, Maya. They walked through the corridors back toward the stage. Security cleared the path. Crew members stopped what they were doing and stared. This wasn't normal. This wasn't protocol. This was something else entirely. Kirk met them at the stage entrance. Prince, the crowd has been waiting. I know, Prince said. They can wait a little longer. He walked out onto the stage carrying Maya, and the sound that rose from the target center was unlike anything anyone there had ever heard. It wasn't cheering. It wasn't applause. It was something between a gasp and a sob, 20,000 people seeing something that made them forget they were at a concert. The purple stage lights illuminated Prince holding Maya, and the image burned itself into 20,000 memories. This tiny girl in an oversized purple dress, cradled in the arms of the man whose music had become her lifeline. Prince walked to center stage. The silence was absolute. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince said, his voice thick with emotion. This is my friend Maya. She's 6 years old, and she's been fighting a battle no 6-year-old should ever have to fight. Maya loves Purple Rain. And tonight, she's going to help me finish this song. The arena erupted, but not in screaming chaos. This was reverent applause, the kind you hear when people witness something sacred. Prince sat at the piano with Maya on his lap. She was so small, her head resting against his chest. He could feel her heartbeat, fast, irregular, struggling. "You ready?" he whispered. She nodded. Prince began to play. The opening chords of Purple Rain filled the target center, but slower, gentler than ever before. When he began to sing, something miraculous happened. Maya joined him. Her voice was tiny. Weak. Barely audible. But she knew every word. Purple Rain, Purple Rain. 20,000 people heard this little girl singing with Prince, and something broke open in that arena. Grown men sobbed. Mothers held their children tighter. Teenagers who'd come to scream and dance found themselves witnessing something they'd never forget. Then, spontaneously, the crowd began singing too. Quietly. Respectfully. 20,000 voices turning the anthem into a lullaby for one 6-year-old girl. When the song ended, Prince held Maya close and whispered, "You're the bravest person I've ever met." Maya smiled. The first real smile Rachel had seen in weeks. "Maya," Prince said into the microphone. "You've made this the most important show I've ever played. Thank you." As Prince prepared to carry Maya back to her parents, she reached up and touched the symbol pendant around his neck, the symbol of his freedom, his rebirth. "Can I have it?" she whispered. "To remember." Prince didn't hesitate. He unclasped it and placed it around her neck. On her tiny frame, it hung too big, too heavy. "Perfect. Now you have something to remember me by," Prince said. Maya shook her head slightly. "No. So you remember me." That sentence, spoken by a dying 6-year-old who understood she was dying, broke something in Prince. He held her tighter and cried. 20,000 people watched Prince cry on stage for a little girl he'd met 30 minutes ago. He carried Maya back to Rachel and Miguel in the front row. As he placed her in her mother's arms, Rachel grabbed his hand. "Thank you for seeing her. For making her matter." "She'll always matter," Prince said. Prince finished the concert. Every song was for Maya. During 1999, he changed the lyrics, "Maya's here tonight, and that's no dream." The crowd understood they weren't just watching a concert anymore, they were witnessing something that would define what a Prince show could mean. After the concert ended, Prince gave Rachel his personal number. "If she needs anything, call me. Day or night." Then came the impossible part. Maya didn't die that night. Or the next day. Or the next week. She lived for 11 more months. The doctors called it unexplainable. But something about that night, the joy, the love from 20,000 strangers, the dream fulfilled, gave Maya strength that science couldn't measure. Prince stayed in touch. He called Maya every Sunday. When her strength finally faded in September 1997, Prince flew from Europe to sit by her hospital bed and play guitar. Soft songs. Lullabies. Music to ease pain. Maya's last words were, "Tell Prince thank you. Tell him I heard all of it." Prince kept Maya's photograph in his studio at Paisley Park for the rest of his life. "Maya taught me that music isn't about perfection," he said in a 2003 interview. "It's about connection. About being present for someone who needs you." From that night forward, Prince made it a point to connect with sick children at his concerts. His tour managers learned to recognize the signs, a parent holding a sick child, a family that seemed desperate, and Prince would always acknowledge them. The symbol pendant Maya wore. Prince had it returned after her funeral. He kept it in a special case in his studio. When Prince died in 2016, that pendant was found in his pocket. 20 years later, he was still carrying a piece of her. In 1998, Rachel and Miguel established Maya's Music Foundation, dedicated to bringing live music to terminally ill children. Prince was the first major donor. To date, the foundation has helped over 15,000 children. At the Target Center, a plaque backstage reads, "In memory of Maya Martinez and all the children who remind us what music is really for." October 12, 1996. A true artist isn't defined by sold-out arenas. A true artist remembers that behind every ticket is a human being with a story, a struggle, a soul that music can touch. Prince had played thousands of concerts before October 12, 1996. But that night changed what it meant to be Prince. Share this story with someone who needs to remember that compassion matters more than any performance. Because we're all just one moment away from meeting our Maya. On October 12, 1996, Maya Martinez was dying. Doctors gave her days, maybe hours. But she had one wish, to see Prince perform Purple Rain. Prince stopped his entire show. He held her in his arms. He sang to her like she was the only person in the world. And something impossible happened. Maya lived 11 more months. The doctors couldn't explain it. But maybe love, joy, and feeling seen by 20,000 people creates a medicine that science can't measure. Prince gave Maya 11 more months of life. But Maya gave Prince something too, the reminder that music without humanity is just noise. Every concert after that night carried more weight. Every performance mattered more. Because Prince learned what Maya already knew, some moments are more important than any show. The symbol pendant hangs in Paisley Park now. A reminder of a little girl in a purple dress who taught a legend what it means to truly perform. Maya's voice, singing Purple Rain with Prince, was barely a whisper. But its echo changed everything.